So the theme of the video is topping dead firs, and yeah, I just watched the footage, you know, the clips that I was kind of put together, and yeah, it made me think because it looks so easy on the video, and the thing is, if you're not familiar or practiced with that kind of work, then it can be anything but, you know. I mean, you can easily run into trouble. And I'm not in the habit of usually giving words of advice or caution on these tree videos, but I just thought I'd make an exception in this case because, again, it looks so straightforward, you know. Yeah, so Juliet, my wife, is out. She's at a party, and Ria, my daughter, is in bed. So I thought I'd just take the time now because I couldn't do it with them here or even in the next room because they'd just be giggling and putting me off, you know. So yeah, you know, it's just like I say, just a few points that come to mind. So the first one is really about climbing up a dead tree or dead fir, and when I say dead, I'm really talking about sort of more than, you know, several years dead. So, you know, not a freshly dead tree, so to speak. But yeah, so using a flip line and spurs to get up the tree, what I normally do, and I think most people do, is actually use the line, you know, throw it up a couple of feet and take 4 steps, say, you know, and then do the same thing again. So you're actually holding the line, gripping the line with your hands, as opposed to climbing up the tree and advancing the line, you know. And it's very easy to get into a good rhythm and make quite quick progress, you know, climbing in that style. Now on a live tree it's not a problem or anything, it's just nothing, it's just the way you do it, you know. It's easy, it's ergonomic, and it's quick. But on a dead tree, once you get into that rhythm, and you know, after, you know, as little as 20 foot, without realizing it, you can send a tree of more than 100 foot into quite a rocking kind of motion, you know. And it's a funny thing because it happens and you don't even realize it, and until you look up, and then it can be quite alarming, you know, that you've generated this energy, you know. And so in a tree that was really kind of badly decayed up top, or what have you, it's not inconceivable that you could shake a high top loose, you know, and have it come and fall down on top of you, you know. So like I say, and it's all down to the rhythm that you get into when you're climbing. So you know, you've got to sort of break that rhythm up. And so what I found, and you know, anyone else would quite quickly realise, is that if you know, use your hands to climb the tree and then advance your flip line up, and this kind of keeps your body closer to the tree itself, and it just stops you initiating that rhythm, which causes that rocking motion, you know, because the tree is so rigid, you know. There's nothing to dampen it when there's no foliage or very few live limbs left, you know. You know, the second thing that really comes to mind is when you get to the point where you're gonna make your your face cut, and you make your face cut, and then you're gonna make your back cut or whatever. Before you do any of that, just consider whether or not when you come to make the back cut that there's going to be enough room to fit your chainsaw bar and your wedges in behind. I mean, you know, this is assuming that the topping of the tree is obviously a fair standing tree with no particular favour one way or the other, and in the absence of using a tag line or a pull line, whatever you want to call it. So just be sure that your chainsaw bar and your wedge are not going to collide, you know, that there's enough room there to fit them in. So obviously don't go too deep with your face cut, you know, because then it's going to shorten the length of your back cut, you know, because if the tree's only that wide altogether, as you know, so stick to a third or something like that, you know, try not to go more than a third of the way in. Or you know, if you're still having a problem or you forget and find yourself, shit, you know, I can't get my wedge in here, then you know, have a handsaw with you, which obviously has a much thinner blade, so you could, you know, either do the whole back cut with the handsaw or at least the latter part of it. Okay, so and the other thing was going back to that rocking motion that we talked about earlier, because like I say, it's you know, it's very easy to advance kind of 80 foot in a few minutes, you know, and the rocking motion that you generate will continue for several minutes after, you know, like I say, because there's nothing to dampen it, it's all really kind of rigid. And that's not a problem, having a tree that's a bit wobbly when you're climbing, well, unless, you know, assuming that the top hasn't fallen down and killed you or whatever, but you know, but once you're up there and you're ready to start cutting, it's no big thing to have something moving a little bit, you know, happens all the time in the wind. But and you might not even notice, you know, but when it really does kind of come to light is when you've made your face cut, and then you advance with your back cut. I don't know if you can see that there. See, I've just simulated that, and this rocking motion down below, you know, will initiate the top to wobble as you advance your back cut, and the whole top is just sitting on this very, very thin strip of wood that is your hinge, you know what I mean? And you know, it can just catch you out, you know, you'll be making your back cut and all of a sudden, you know, surprisingly, you know, the gap that you've created with your saw will start opening and closes, and you think, Jesus, what is this like? And that's what it is. It's because the bottom part of the stem was, perhaps unbeknown to you, still moving, and then it sets the top of the stem into a big wobble, you know, back, kind of a back and forth opposite ways like that to where the bottom is gone. And you know, sort of like, you know, somebody who's lost the power of his neck and his head is just wobbling about on his shoulders, you know, and obviously on a dead kind of tree, depending on the extent of the decay, could weaken the hinge even more, perhaps even, you know, break it off if you cut too far too soon. So so the thing is you know, get your wedges in as soon as possible. You know, I always carry 4 wedges with me because you know, you don't want to just rely on 2 in case you drop one or you drop both of them, or who knows, like, you know. So I always have 4 wedges and kind of different sizes to the same size in case I have to stack them. So get them in as soon as possible, and you know, just advance your back cut really slowly and just keep tapping that wedge in, you know, and just be aware of what is going on. And if you feel like, you know, that your back cut has set the tree into motion, has set the top wobbling, you know, like we spoke about, then you know, if your wedges are in, or you know, just stay cool and wait for it to pass, you know, and try not to move about too much, you know what I mean, and it will calm down, and then you just do a little bit more cutting, and you know, keep tapping your wedges in slowly. Never sort of rush anything in haste, or you know, you could easily get in trouble. So so that's it. I just felt like, you know, having watched a few clips, and there are only a few, you're probably going to think they're really boring when you see them now, because I've sort of bigged it up, you know, but you'll think they're really anticlimactic, but it's, you know, I just felt like I needed to say something about it in case, you know, you're whoever, you know, for people who are perhaps not as experienced at that kind of thing, or just take it for granted and whatever, you know, just, you know, proceed with caution and just be prepared, you know, for these things. And that's it. But enjoy the clips. Like I say, they're no big deal, but you know, watch them and you'll get, because the video doesn't really capture what's going on, the wobble, you know, but you will get the sense, hopefully, that I'm being careful, and when you watch the video now I've explained, you'll understand why. So alright, well, thanks for listening anyway. Okay, cheers. I'll just edit that bit there. Thanks for listening if you're still awake, okay, because it wouldn't surprise me if you'd switched off already. Thanks. So this is Jared's mess here, as you can see. It's about 5 o'clock now. He was here a few days ago. You can tell by the shoddy falling cuts that he's definitely been here, and the lack of organisation, obviously, just everything just slammed down without a thought for whoever might be coming back. But clearly he did have one thought about whoever came back, and that was to leave this lovely dead grand fir. And there it is. Look at that, isn't that a beauty? Cheers, Jared, mate. It's as rotten as fuck. It's about 110, 120, I would say, to the top. Looks 120 feet, maybe. Yeah, nice one, mate. So, can't fall it into the bush because there's a fence within falling distance, and the road's just there as well, so the only way is to get up and top it out first. So hopefully it's okay. We'll see.
pass the time. Gonna write a song so she can see. Give her all the love she gives to me. Talk of better days that have yet to come. Never felt this love from anyone. She's not anyone. She's not anyone. She's not anyone. A man can never dream these kind of things, especially when she came and spread her wings. Whispered in my ear the things I'd like. Then she flew away into the night. Gonna write a song so she can see. Give her all the love she gives to me. Talk of better days that have yet to come. Never felt this love from anyone. She's not anyone. She's not anyone. She's not anyone.